Welcome to Aurora Connects Season 2. This is episode 11 for Friday, October 23rd, 2020, opening night, The Flats. I am Aurora Theater Associate Artistic Director, Dawn Monique Williams, and as always, I am joined by Artistic Director, Josh Costello. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Dawn, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm really excited. We're dropping The Flats in just about an hour.
We have an opening night. I'm wearing a tie and everything.
It's so awesome. So awesome. Well, friends, as always, please comment along as you watch on Facebook or YouTube. We love to get your comments. And you can always email us if you have ideas about guests, topics you'd like us to cover on the show. Any feedback, we welcome it. We're at connects@auroratheater.org. That's connects@auroratheater.org. And we love hearing from you. Also, this episode and every episode of Aurora Connects is available in an audio podcast format, wherever you get your podcasts from.
And I'd like to remind you all that memberships are available on our website, auroratheater.org. Memberships are how we are getting all of our content to you this season. So if you purchase a membership, you can do it for the whole season or monthly. That will get you access to The Flats, which we are releasing today. Did we mention that? As well as another audio drama in the spring, all sorts of other content that we are putting together, including musical performances, magic, other theaters are doing their performances, and they're going to be shared with you through our membership program. Great. Dawn is running a book club on August Wilson. Really wonderful stuff. So please, if you haven't already, check out our membership program at auroratheater.org. And while you are there, you can make a donation by clicking the donate button on the top right. Thank you so much.
Great. We're going to take a couple of things a little bit out of order here this week, as it's a special episode. So we're going to go ahead and do our advocacy shout out right now at the top of the episode. So Josh, who are we shouting out this week?
Well, you know, we like to ask our guests to suggest an organization to shout out to that's meaningful to them. And we're just our own guests today. So we picked something that is tangentially at least related to the content of The Flats. And that is an organization called the Anti-Police Terror Project. The Anti-Police Terror Project is a Black-led, multiracial, intergenerational coalition that seeks to build a replicable and sustainable model to eradicate police terror in communities of color. They support families surviving police terror in their fight for justice, documenting police abuses, and connecting impacted families and community members with resources, legal referrals, and opportunities for healing. antipoliceterrorproject.org.
Great.
And Dawn, we have another bit of news, which is that it's not just opening night for Aurora and for The Flats, but it's also opening night for another show on the other side of the country that you directed.
Yes, it is opening night of Letters to Kamala at American Stage in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a new play. It's a commission that American Stage did by the writer Rachel Lynette, who is pretty known for her sort of dark humor. And it's these three historical figures who come together to address Kamala. And it's really quite beautiful and really timely. And while the characters are historical figures, it is very much a contemporary play that Rachel has written. And we open tonight, and they have this whole weekend of live streamed performances. And then in the next weekend will be recorded performances available for viewing. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, so everybody should check that out as well. That's American Stage. Their artistic director is Stephanie Gallart, who has appeared on stage at Aurora. She's the former artistic director of Capitol Stage in Sacramento. So please check out Letters to Kamala, directed by Dawn Monique Williams at American Stage.
Thank you, Josh. We are here to celebrate opening of The Flats. Act 1 will be going live for our members at about 5 p.m. today, Pacific Daylight Time. And if you haven't gotten your membership, there is still time. You also can get single tickets for The Flats. And what's really awesome is we are gonna go and have our own little company listening party, but you can listen to The Flats anytime you want. It is available to you on demand once you've purchased the ticket or a membership, which means you can wake up and listen to it as you jog tomorrow morning or as you wash the dishes, or you can pop it in tonight at 7 o'clock and just chill on your sofa and listen to it. It's an audio only, download and go. And anytime that's convenient for you, you can listen. Episode 1 is dropping today. And then we're going to have episode 2 next week and episode 3 the week after. So it's a 3-part production that we're really excited to share and we're really, really quite proud of.
And to be clear, that $20 single ticket price includes all 3 episodes. So you only pay $20 once, you get access to all 3 episodes for that. And the memberships are $150 for the whole season for a single membership, or $15 a month. So please do check that out so you can listen. Again, we'll be releasing episode 1 during this episode of Aurora Connects by 5 o'clock today. So, go ahead.
I was just so excited. I was going to say we wanted to introduce people to the characters of the Flats and give them a little taste of what's to come in episode 1 and the following episodes. So I was just going to jump ahead to the audio. So Josh, please.
Yeah. So when we, this is an original play. It's a world premiere. It's commissioned by Aurora. From 3 awesome local playwrights, Lauren Gunderson, Cleavon Smith, and Jonathan Spector. And way back in the late spring, Dawn and I started meeting with the playwrights and talking about what this crazy idea was going to be. And you'll hear from the playwrights in a few minutes. But one of the things that happened really early on is we decided that each playwright would originate one character, and they'd each write monologues for that character and then start writing scenes for the different characters together. And we asked them, who is an actor in the Bay Area that you would like to write for? And they each chose an actor, a favorite actor, and we offered those roles to those actors, and they all said yes, and we're very excited to have such a remarkable cast. So we're going to start with the character of Brooke, who was written originally by Cleavon Smith, and the actor that he chose is Kari Moy. And Kari is a wonderful Bay Area actor. I've been seeing him on stage for many years in the Bay Area, dating back, oh gosh, I'm not going to remember, but a show at SF Playhouse a long time ago. And he has, auditioned for Aurora many times. He's been very close to being cast at Aurora, but we never quite found the right fit. And I was so excited when Cleavon named Kari as his choice, because I've been wanting to work with Kari for so long, and he's just done a fantastic job. So this is one of the first monologues that was written for the show. It ended up making it all the way into the final draft. And it is Kari Moy as Brooke in the Flats.
You think they have the decency to turn off all the lights so we can see the goddamn stars? It's not like anybody's going to work after dark these days anyway. Oh, except for those fools in the helicopters and on the street patrols. Come on, people, what the hell? But no, they gotta keep the lights on, send the helos out, patrol the streets, keep folks in view. I mean, if there's ever been a real-ass global threat, what the whole world is dealing with right now has to qualify as that, right? But of course, even though what's out there has never been seen before, and we have no idea how it could disrupt, hell, end our lives, the greatest threat they can imagine is the same it's always been. Black people. Myself included. Why would I not be? I am tired of talking about this shit. There's nothing against you, but the least they can do is turn out the lights. Remember that night in Boonville? It could be beautiful here just like that if they just let it be. And that's all I ask for. I just want to see the stars.
Oh, I love Kari so much. What are you saying, John?
Oh, I was going to say, you've directed Kari. You've worked with Kari. Yeah.
I have worked with Kari a few times at local theaters in the Bay Area, and I'm just so glad that he joined us at Aurora for the Flats. I just really, Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that guy.
Yeah, he's tremendous. He's tremendous. He's just great. So that's the character of Brooke. And now we're gonna go on and we're gonna listen to 2 more clips just to tease you with the other 2 characters. So the next one is the character of Leonard, who is played by Anthony Fusco. And Jonathan Spector, who's the author of Eureka Day, which you may remember at Aurora a couple of years ago. Jonathan started thinking about this character he wanted to write, and he was interested in writing a character who's like an old hippie in Berkeley who's been living in this basement apartment for 30 years on rent control, and has his own YouTube show on which he espouses various left-wing conspiracy theories. And when we asked him which actor in the Bay Area he most wanted to work with for this, he said Anthony Fusco. And Anthony Fusco was going to be in a show at Aurora, The Ruler, that we had to cancel because of the pandemic. And so I was very pleased. He had not been in another Aurora show, though he's been in many shows around the Bay Area at ACT and Berkeley Rep and Cal Shakes. He's a fantastic actor. It was such a privilege to get to direct him in this. So here is Anthony Fusco as Leonard in The Flats.
My friends, I hope I find you well. I'm coming to you today as I do every Tuesday from Unit 3B in the last great stronghold of free thought in this wide world, Berkeley, California. You all no doubt have many questions about what is happening, and why, and when it will end. Why we're now on day 4 of this phenomenon with so few explanations being offered to us. By way of answering, I think it is high time that we discuss the man who possessed the most important mind of the 20th century, Mr. Reuben Garrett Lucius Goldberg, known colloquially as Rube. Mr. Goldberg was, like myself, a graduate of the University of California at Berkeley, and is best known for what the ignorant among us refer to as Rube Goldberg machines. These miraculous devices are, as defined by Wikipedia, a machine intentionally designed to perform a simple task in an indirect and overly complicated way. Take note of that language, my friends. This is how they subvert us. Mr. Goldberg's revelation has been reduced to an idle distraction, a children's amusement.
All right, so that was Anthony Fusco as Leonard, and I think let's just go right on to the next one. Yeah, Don?
Yeah, works great.
So the third playwright and third character are Lauren Gunderson, and she wrote a character named Harmony. And this monologue definitely reflects Lauren's initial thinking about this character and who she is. And she chose Lauren English, who is a wonderful Bay Area actor. She was in Tally's Folly at Aurora. I got to direct her a while back in a show at SF Playhouse called Reborning, and she's just such a lovely person and a lovely actor, and so just always is so truthful in her acting. It really she always amazes me with just the way she can't say a line without it feeling really real for her. It's remarkable what she's able to do. So I was so pleased to get to work with her again on The Flats and have her play Harmony. So here's Harmony, played by Lauren English.
Yeah, but okay. I'm a law-abiding person. I'm not about to drive over 100 miles to his grand fucking estate and potentially get arrested, not to mention risk my life just to pick up his kids. Who were also my kids. But Jesus, come on! This was supposed to be mommy time, okay? It was his weekend. The lockdown comes on his weekend. How was that my fault? I was so looking forward to this weekend. Brunch with Jenny, a little Neiman's, a long drive back to Sacramento to a large and empty house, a bath, a book, and then the world goes to shit and I have to take cover in Berkeley since they shut the roads down. But after much panic, I did as you always tell me to do and find the positive before dwelling on the negative. So, I appreciate that I've had a second to slow down and check in with myself. And watch a lot of porn. I know, but okay. All these fine folks were instantly like putting symphonies and plays online for people to see, since we can't go out, which is just so beautiful. Like, what a beautiful gesture. Like, yay, art! But then I also saw that this big porn site was like, all premium memberships are free now. And I thought, well, that's a lovely gesture as well.
So great. Harmony is one of my favorites in the show.
Mhm.
So great.
So that's how we started. We started with these 3 characters and monologues like those and a couple of others. And the playwrights then started, writing scenes and putting these characters into situations together. And it just sort of grew from there. So it was a really fun process. We should also mention that Rebecca Schweitzer is also in our cast, playing one other smaller role. But Rebecca's, she was in Bull in a China Shop at Aurora and Rapture Blister Burn before that and other shows before that. And she's a wonderful local actor as well.
Yeah, and I do want to let people know that all 4 actors will be joining Josh this Sunday for our Center Stage Salon series, which comes along with the membership. So if you buy a full membership to Aurora for the season, Josh does these monthly salons, and this month, just on Sunday, will be the cast of the Flats, all 4 actors joining Josh for that fireside chat.
That's right. Yes. And we should also mention Elton Bradman, our sound designer and composer. He's great. And all these folks are going to be joining us later in this episode. So if you stick around, we are going to be having our little opening celebration with the whole team. But we have one thing before that, right, Dawn?
Yes. So now we'd like to bring back the playwrights. We've put together a selection of comments and responses to questions that they have pre-recorded on a previous episode of Aurora Connects. So we've cut that down just a little bit, and we're going to cut to that episode, let you watch a little bit of that to get a reminder and a taste of what the playwrights process was. And then we'll join you back in just a bit. Great. So joined by 3 incredible local Bay Area playwrights, Lauren, Cleavon Smith, and Jonathan Spector. Welcome, friends, to the show.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So Josh, this crazy idea, and we selected these 3 playwrights in particular to forge a new path in Aurora programming. So why don't you tell us about the genesis of this audio drama idea?
Sure. So I had been thinking about what kind of online programming would be best for Aurora to get involved with. And we don't have a lot of, really high quality archival video of our old plays that we could stream online. And the Zoom theater thing that a lot of theaters are doing didn't quite feel right for Aurora, for what we do. And I started thinking about, well, what is it that we do, right? Intimacy, we have a space where the actors and the audience feel so close together. You can see every detail and nuance of their work. And we have a focus on language. That's really been a focus of Aurora from the beginning. And so the format of an audio drama felt like it could fulfill those things. It felt like there's an intimacy to having this voice in your ear that is not that dissimilar from the intimacy of being in such a small performance space. And by the same token, there's an emphasis on language. It's not about the spectacle, right? It's not about the visuals. It's about the words and the way they're used, and the way that the characters use language to pursue their objectives. So I got really excited about the idea that an audio drama could be a way to deliver a story of the same kind of quality and the same kind of nuance as an Aurora play. And of course, these 3 writers seemed like a great team to do it.
The idea of doing it as a trio of writers felt really unique and cool. And then you started to mention the folks that you were gathering. All in. Anything with these 2, I'm down.
For me, it was great. I think it was an email, and the subject line was "crazy idea," and just like Anna from Frozen, I like crazy. I just totally embraced it, and part of it is just like writing something that's really urgent helps me get out of my way as a writer, and then also just knowing that I was going to be writing with Lauren and Jonathan was just an opportunity to write with brilliant playwrights, and it was almost like going back to grad school. So I was thrilled for the chance to collaborate and see how what the process is like. So it was a no-brainer for me to say yes to the request.
Yeah, I think I got a text that said I have a crazy idea. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's, and you know, once it became clear that we were trying to do this thing and trying to do it on this kind of insane timeline too, to have something up in September, October, that it's sort of, there's sort of a tremendous freedom with putting yourself on a deadline like that, because you release yourselves from the idea that this thing is going to be perfect. Like and the importance is just to make it exist. And so that's kind of exciting and freeing, and especially like in this moment when who knows when theater's coming back, like to feel like there's a project that is gonna happen soon is really exciting.
Lauren, how is this similar or dissimilar from some of your other co-writing processes? And then guys, I'd love to just hear from you too about how this is different than your typical process, or similar to a typical process.
I mean,
Lauren,
I think most collaborations, start with the conversations that we've been having, which have been, of course, over Zoom. So just a lot of like, what spark is in me, what spark is in you, where do those sparks kind of meet? And then to keep the metaphor going, you know, how do you build the fire? How do you feed it? How do you keep it going? And so a lot of that is just conversations saying, you know, trying to find some outline, some structure, some sense of who we're writing about. And that's, you know, it is easier when it's two, because it's then just back and forth, but three adds a beautiful geometric complexity, which I think is going to prove to be really exciting. But I haven't quite worked in that exact arrangement. Musicals, of course, you usually have, you know, minimum of two, but often three people in terms of book, lyrics, and music. So I'm somewhat used to that dance, but then it's a lot of Google Docs, and it's a lot of being brave and going like, I wrote this thing, it's now a thing. Now it's yours to read, and you tell me. So it's a lot of just kind of fast thinking and honesty and vulnerability, and just saying, trusting that everybody wants to make something great that everyone's proud of, and kind of going forward with that trust and a little bit of productivity.
You guys have all been so lovely with that vulnerability and honoring each other's vulnerability through this process. It's been really lovely to be a part of. Cleavon, tell us a little bit about the story itself that we're sort of moving towards now.
I don't want that responsibility.
Tell us about the character that you've been developing. You've each been developing one character for the story, and we've sort of been gradually learning more about them and putting them together in different ways and figuring out what the bigger arc is going to be. But it's interesting that that's sort of how it started, was like, let's have each of you create one character, and then more stuff has just been coming in. So maybe we should start with that.
Yeah, and so I think we have three characters who are in a triplex, who have, till this moment, as little contact with one another as possible, but they are kind of forced through the kind of circumstances of the moment to actually interact, which in and of itself is, you know, fairly inciting in and of itself, regardless of the conditions that have sparked it. And yeah, I think their isolation, as well as the community that they're building together, is going to take them all on journeys that they hadn't even considered they were capable of going on prior to this moment.
And tell us about the character that you've been playing with.
So Brooke is the character that I've been mostly responsible for developing. And he is early 30-somethings, African-American man, comes from he's fairly educated, comes from a privileged background. And with that comes a lot of insecurities, because he's been kind of like straddling boundaries for most of his life. And so he doesn't trust himself and doesn't trust others, and that keeps him at a distance from people. but it also, he has an urgency to connect. He just doesn't trust that the connection will actually happen. And so with the situation being what it is, and these three finding themselves kind of stuck together, it's pushing him to be a little bit more vulnerable and to speak his truth more than he has a lot of practice doing.
Yeah, Lawrence is an older man who moved out here, I think in the 60s, to go to college at Cal and stayed. And
yeah, this is a triplex in Berkeley is the idea. And it's
I mean, he's done many interesting things in his life, but for a long time ran the most important independent video store in Berkeley, which is now defunct. And currently occupies himself with a quite popular YouTube channel where he reveals the truth about the world through what other people would perceive as sort of left-wing conspiracy theories. And he lives in the bottom unit of this building where he has been for 30 years, and probably pays $75 a month.
And Lauren, how about you?
So my character's name is Harmony, and she is kind of revealing herself to me. At first, she was a bit of a clown character. She was a mom, a mother of three, probably 40, white, who is in the process of separating from her husband. They have gained a lot of wealth since they got married right after college at Berkeley, which is what brought her to town. And we meet her in a moment of strange freedom, because it was the husband's turn to have the kids when their version of shelter in place started. And so she is suddenly alone and can't go get her kids, which sounds a little distressing, except for she suddenly sees incredible freedom and time to herself that she never has, and is able to kind of use her brain for something else than making lunches and getting people where they need to go and remembering schedules and all of that stuff. So we meet her in this kind of exuberance, which will be revealed that she is certainly more than a joke, and why she's in this life, that when she was studying creative nonfiction and journalism in Berkeley, she had dreams of in a different life, a woman that traveled the world and found the truth of things and was a writer, and then she kind of chose all the things that led her to a life that she never would have thought she was in, and one that she feels is betraying her right now. So she's on a passage to self-discovery. She is a woman returning to this place where this is where she and her soon-to-be ex-husband, this was their student apartment when they were in grad school together, when life was simpler and dreams were big and bright and clear. And yes, so this was, she's coming back.
This audio drama format is new for Aurora, and there are other theaters that have been at it a little bit longer. I just wanted to hear from you all, including you, Josh, as the director of this project. What are the challenges and opportunities of writing for this format?
Well, I love audio dramas. I mean, I think when I was a little kid, I got the on cassette tapes the original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy audio drama from the BBC, and I listened to it over and over again, and it was very influential to me. And just the how crazy you can go with it is super fun. And we've sort of hinted at this, but it does take place, at least at the beginning, during a stay-at-home order that is similar to the stay-at-home order that we're all dealing with right now, but it's not the COVID-19 stay-at-home order, it's something else. And what that is gradually revealed over the course of the story, and becomes, to some extent, a big part of the plot. But having that ability to, go different places and use the soundscape to have different things happen than you can do in a regular play, I think is exciting. And being able to do that while still having the kind of like intense, detailed personal relationships that I'm so passionate about as a storyteller, but also be able to work in a little bit of whimsy and fancifulness. I think can be pretty fun.
I learned a ton because last year I was a part of a play of mine called The Half-Life of Marie Curie. Was both a stage play and an audio drama that was produced and commissioned by Audible. And they've just started this really cool project about 4 or 5 years ago where they would commission writers to write plays specifically for the audio format, but also a third of them or so are produced on stage as well. So you can kind of have both experiences. And that taught me a ton. Instantly, I realized how much I depend on emotional silence to tell me what the character wants but can't say, what they're hoping for and waiting to see what's going to happen. It's tension. And so that is a different experience in audio than it is on stage. And the power of a hug or a kiss or holding a hand or a punch in the face. It's harder to accomplish what those things do so beautifully and simply and efficiently on stage in audio, but there are really amazing ways to do that. And you can absolutely have that tension held with just a little bit of soundscape in the background and the silence between two characters. Especially audio tends to have a lot of dialogue. So when that's gone, suddenly it is this like wind tunnel of emotional information. So stuff like that is really, really interesting. Of course, you want to find incredible sound designers, and we will, of course, do that. But it means, it's world creating. Sound is all you have. And so that's been really great. And what else did I learn? I don't know. I learned to love it. And I learned how exciting and intimate it is. I think, Josh, you might have used that word, but unlike a play, even if you have great close-up seats like Aurora does, you're still in an audio play. It's almost like you are, literally an inch away from this person thinking, feeling, acting. And that's a really, really cool and unique experience that you certainly don't get in a live production, which is kind of a gift for the audio format.
For me, this past week, the soundscape just really started clicking. Just imagining, and how to use the sound of a dryer, drying, tumbling clothes and birds, the wind. And so all of that has really kind of opened itself up to me, which is, I don't think it would have come as naturally or as quickly or as urgently as this format demands. And then I think one of the things that Josh introduced at the very beginning, what he said earlier on the show about language, and it just really kind of like helped me hone in on the language of the characters and listening to the language of the characters, and obviously because it's a collaboration, and each of us has a primary character that we were developing initially, just listening to Jonathan and Lauren's, and their cadence and how they're writing their characters has been, a tremendous kind of learning experience as well.
Yeah, just echoing all of that. Like I haven't listened to much audio drama, but I'm a big podcast person, and I feel like particularly the podcasts I've been listening to for many years, I feel such tremendous intimacy. I realize they don't feel that about me, but I feel like they are my friends, because I've been listening to them for years in my ear. And just, the ability to have that kind of intimacy, and the ability that, like, if you're writing a play, you got to think about like the set and like how many locations is it going to be, and in an audio drama you can just go anywhere. So that's exciting. Although it was interesting, I was just working on we had started writing monologues, and then we started to sort of dip our toes into scenes, and I was just earlier today working on a scene involving my character and Lauren's character, and it's very uncomfortable, like writing somebody else's character, because you're like, is this okay that I'm doing this? So that's going to be really interesting territory to sort of to explore.
That is so true. I've had the exact same experience. Feeling like it is such like a delicate honor to like write words for your characters. And so, yeah, it was a little startling at first to go, okay, can't wait to write oh no, how do I'll just write a monologue. I'll write a monologue for me again. Yeah, that's part of the kind of cool experiment of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just share for our viewers and listeners the context. So as they stated, they each created their own character, but now it's like nobody owns the specific character. So each writer is free to kind of write in all the characters' voices. And each week we meet as a team, the 5 of us, and we read the new pages aloud to one another. So each of us, Josh and myself included, and the playwrights all included, have taken turns embodying these different characters. And that part of the process has been really delightful. The playwrights, you're all quite capable actors as well. And I'm getting kind of spoiled by hearing you voice the characters, but I have loved in particular, because Cleavon has presented us with some scenes that have involved characters he didn't originate, and I have loved hearing how that's developing, how you're writing for one another, and hearing it in you, Lauren, read harmony the way Cleavon has written harmony, and how that's in line with, but also a little bit different than how you've written harmony. That's been really, really great part of the process.
Yeah, well, I think we were talking about last week, you know, one of the challenges of doing a piece like this, trying to write something that feels like it's going to be responsive to the current moment, is that the pace of change of what the current moment is moves much faster than the pace of creating theater. And so just trying to figure out what that means for this process, and how we continue to let the piece develop in a way that it feels like it has something to say about whatever the moment we're in, even though the moment we're in right now is very different than it was 3 weeks ago, which was very different than it was a month before that. And who knows what the moment will, by September, like, I have no idea like what the world will look like. So yeah, I mean, we're just trying to stay open to that, I guess.
But actually, Jonathan, you pointed that out in the very first meeting.
Okay.
You know, and it was prophetic, actually. And I think that's why we stepped outside of this reality, so to speak. And it's not COVID-19 shelter in place. It's something different. And that was one of the first decisions from that first conversation. I think it was kind of like, as Jonathan was articulating just then, we kind of concluded early in the process.
Yeah, let's have a parallel situation that allows us to resonate with what's going on now without having to directly embody what's going on right now. Yeah, I think that was a smart call.
And the project has swiftly revealed that what we all to be know about theater, which is it's all about great, authentic, human, close character. It's less about plot. It's less about, crazy stuff in the world. And it's about people being pushed to a limit and revealing who they are and connecting with one another. And it's that heart and soul stuff, which kind of whatever crisis or reckoning we are in, that's what it comes down to. So in some ways it's felt very steadying to work on a project like this that is not just about doing that work as I would if I were just writing a solo piece, but because we're doing it together, it feels it's really special. It's really meaningful.
Well, that is,
if I may add though, like each week, each day is informing the writing nonetheless. And so so our world may not necessarily be a representation of the present day. It is impossible for our reality to not inform the writing. And so a lot of the urgencies for my character, they are consistent with where I was 13 weeks ago with it, or I guess 6 weeks ago with it. And I also feel myself articulating some of those urgencies, a little bit differently based on what I'm experiencing every day.
our playwrights, and now we are joined by our whole team for our opening night celebration. Hi, everybody. Look at that. There's like pages and pages of you. It's so great to see all your faces. Let's do this. Can all the Aurora staff members just wave hi and say hello real quick? This is our Aurora staff. And how about our board members and sponsors? We have some board members and sponsors here. Hello. Thank you all so much. Now how about everybody who worked on the flats? Let's our team. Let's do the actors first. Actors, say hello. We just got to listen to your clips earlier in the episode. And playwrights. We have our three playwrights. Or do we have Lauren? Do we just have Jonathan?
There are no Laurens in the room right now.
No Laurens. We're missing all our Laurens. Well, it's great to see everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This was such a huge endeavor. We also have Elton Bradman. I forgot Elton. Where's Elton? Elton's our composer and sound designer.
Yay!
As you are about to hear. And we have Maisie there. Hi, Maisie. Jonathan Spector's daughter is here. Hi. And there's Lauren.
We have a muted Lauren.
Being here, this was such a huge endeavor. We also have Elton Bradman. Now I'm hearing myself a few seconds ago.
Hey. Lauren, I think you have the stream going. Can you turn it off?
And we have Maisie. There we go.
Groundhog Minute.
Yes, if you're watching, stay muted.
We're going to get this figured out. There we go. No longer hearing the echo. Thank you, everybody. So as you can see, trying to make theater over Zoom presents some technical challenges. And what I was trying to say a second ago was that our team has come together in such a remarkable way to figure out an entirely new medium for this project that Aurora has never done before. And we, not only were we recording an audio drama for the very first time, we also had to do it during a pandemic when people couldn't be in the same rooms together. So we had our technical director, Cameron, like taking sound panels off of the wall in the dash out room and taking them to the actors' houses to set them all up. Danny Bay, Amanda, everybody, like lots of people worked really hard and learned new skills to make this all possible. And it's so great to have you here. We have friends and family here as well, not just staff and artists and everybody, lots of folks. Let's see. Yeah, hi. Other people can talk besides me too. We're sort of figuring out how this goes as we go. Anybody else want to say hello? Everybody's being shy.
Sure. Hello.
Hi.
This is Anthony Frisco.
Hi there. Oh my gosh, I have to say, when this was proposed, I was like, a Zoom opening party? Could I just cut my wrists instead? But actually, this is awesome. I'm so happy to see everybody. This is wonderful. What an exciting event. Yay. Hi, everybody.
Well, it's so strange, because we recorded it a few weeks ago now. And so the cast hasn't all been together since we finished recording, and Elton has been toiling away to put it all together. But this is our first time all being back together since we recorded.
Yeah, I got stuck over watching Aurora Connects, so I forgot to zoom in. That's why I was late, just because it was so nice and sort of time travel-y to go back in the process. And I was just remembering like the beginning, the first phone call, and then because of how we worked, we didn't, by the time we got in deep into rehearsal, we didn't get to be in like the writing room, right? So it was neat to hear the three writers in process and discussion in a way that, because remember we started doing breakout sessions. They were like, oh, you writers go over here, actors go over here. And so it was just nice to be reminded of your process. And it was really great.
I know, were there any recordings made of the playwrights reading the various characters?
No, I want to.
I know, I'm dying to hear it. I'm dying.
I mean, mainly it's Josh Renner that is the special.
I bet.
You want to say hi?
It's nice to see you, Maisie.
The last time I saw Maisie, I think, was a Eureka Day opening or a closing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the actors were you guys were part of the process pretty early on. We brought you in over the summer to read some early drafts of the script, and that was a big part of the process for the playwrights as well.
I have a question.
Oh, great, Ellen. What's your question?
My question is, how did you get the idea of doing this play? And how did you come up with, well, an idea for an audio play, number one, but this play with three playwrights, how did that happen? Were you drinking that night?
It was, I want to turn that to the playwrights, but for me, it was, the initial impulse was how important it was to tell a story that speaks to the present moment, that we are going through a huge change as a society. And this was, before George Floyd and all of that, and before the current round of election madness. It was just purely thinking about the pandemic and how that was going to permanently change our world. And I believe that artists are visionaries and storytellers, and that the reason stories are so important is because they help us understand our place in the world. And when the world changes in such a fundamental way, I think it's really important to have new stories to help us understand what those changes mean for us as a community, as a family, as people, as a society. And so the idea of doing something that spoke to the present moment, came pretty early. And then, the idea of having three playwrights originally was like, oh, it'll be easier because they'll each just write one short play. And then we can do that in the short amount of time that we have. And somehow, once we started all talking, that became, well, maybe there'll be three plays all on the same theme, or maybe there'll be some characters that are in all the plays. And then it just turned into one big play written by three playwrights. And I'm so pleased with how it turned out, but it was a crazy process. Cleavon, you have any thoughts about that, how we got there?
No, you captured it pretty well. It was a lot of different things in those first couple of weeks, first month and a half or so.
Well, I want to give a toast because it's opening night, and that's what we do in the theater is we give a toast. So, I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank everybody. I also especially want to thank the Turnosol Foundation, who did not make it into the credits, but they were very generous in supporting this project. And we had lots of support to make this all happen, which is deeply meaningful to us at this time when things are so difficult. Clearly, this is not the 2020-2021 season that we imagined. And we've had a lot of challenges. We have a lot more challenges coming up, but we were able to face those challenges and put this production together thanks to this incredible group of people. And I'm so grateful. I feel so lucky to get to have such a great team to tell stories with. The actors, the playwrights, our composer and sound designer, and Aurora's staff. Everybody has really, really stepped up for this. I just talked about how stories are as important now as they've ever been. So I'd like to thank everybody for putting in such hard work and such long hours for making this happen. Thanks to our audience for sticking with us and supporting us through all of this. Here's to looking forward, here's to us, and here's to more stories. Cheers. And so I think we are going to close out our episode of Connects and continue our Zoom party offline.
Wait.
Yeah, Lauren, you want to say something else?
I want to make a toast.
Oh, good.
I really want to take a moment. I'm just feeling very moved by seeing everyone, and especially reconnecting to like the kernel, the impulse that started this project. I'd like to make a toast to Josh Costello, who I've known a very long time and who I was so excited to see come into this leadership position, and was so rooting for you and amped for this season. And I want to acknowledge the loss of what we thought it was going to be or what you thought it was going to be. And I also want to acknowledge the pivot that you made so quickly and seamlessly to creating out of that loss. You know, I lost, just to contextualize for the community, I lost 3 paid acting jobs or theater jobs, 2 acting, 1 directing job in 2 weeks. And Aurora became the first company to employ me in a sustainable way in the pandemic. And that, I know that was a systemic feat for the whole company, but I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the leadership of this moment. And Josh, you know, it's not an easy way to start your tenure as artistic director, but you set the bar incredibly high in terms of innovation, creation, humility, and amazing direction. So here's to you.
Josh. Cheers, Josh.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have one quick as well, since you're drinking, keep drinking.
Yeah, I just got to real quick say that it's Julie Saltzman Kellner deserves a lot of that praise and credit as well. You know, she's our managing director, and this pivot that we made was not easy and took a lot of planning. And so our whole staff, but Julie especially, it's been a really great partnership, and I'm so proud of what we've been able to do. So thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're here. I just want to jump off of what Lauren and Josh were saying and offer up the bravery of doing and the bravery of dreaming and the bravery of asking, all of which Josh and Dawn and everyone at Aurora did. The very idea of doing something in this time was baffling when we first started. And the idea of dreaming, doing and dreaming without limit, because we didn't have answers for what it could be, what it wanted to be, what it was going to be. But that didn't stop the doing or the dreaming. And that's huge. That's some soulful, beautiful, lifelong kind of, that's the DNA of theater, right? And there's something so heartening and was so inspiring and focusing. So I am to all of the ways that manifests in theater and manifests in kindness and manifests in community and manifests in all the things that we do as we go forward. So I'm grateful to be in this company of creators. I'm so grateful for Josh for asking me to be a part of this, and just for all of you gathered here to acknowledge my co-writers and what a very unique, dreamy privilege it is to be that close to another writer as they are writing. We're in the same document. That never happens for writers unless you're writing like a musical. And the honor of working with Cleavon and Jonathan was unparalleled in my experience so far. So, and then the secondary and continuing honor of working with these actors to bravely and boldly do and make in this time. So I think hopefully we make it look easy. It was not, and that is part of what makes it incredible. And even to laugh, I don't know, cheers to like telling a joke in a pandemic. I mean, woof, that's some real stuff too. So I'm so grateful. It makes me feel unstoppable. It makes me feel like theater, and Bay Area theater in particular, man, we do it. We make it, we put it up, we do it, we make the thing because we believe that it matters and we know it does. So cheers to that.
Cheers.
I don't have a drink. So.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, Lauren, thank you so much. Both our Laurens made it here and had wonderful things to say. Thank you. Hey, Cameron, are you in this call? Cameron's Aurora's technical director, and he's been handling some of the back end of our membership program. And he is ready with his finger on the button to release the flats. So he's going to do it right now. We're a little bit before 5 o'clock, but we're going to go ahead. There he is. Cameron, you want to count us down and then release the episode?
Sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Publishing. A couple buttons here.
All right.
It should be available to view on our member site.
All right. Thank you, Cameron. So there it is, folks. So go and download the flats and listen to it, become an Aurora Theater Company member. Dawn and I are going to close out this episode of Aurora Connects, and thank you all so much. All right, the Flats is now live on our site. So go and check it out. If you've already purchased a membership, if you're already an Aurora Theater Company member, you can go right now to members.auroratheater.org and listen to the Flats. It's available now. It'll be available later as well. It's on demand whenever you would like to listen to it. And if you have not already purchased a membership with Aurora or purchased a single ticket, you can do that as well at auroratheater.org. Again, you get the Flats included with your membership. If you buy a membership for the season, that also includes all sorts of other programming, or you can buy a single ticket for the Flats for $20, which gets you all 3 episodes. Episode 1 is available now on demand, episode 2 next week, and episode 3 will be available the week after that. And while you're on our website, you can click the donation button at the top right. That will help us continue being able to bring you great theater even while our doors are closed. So thank you so much for that.
Great. We're going to keep the party going, but as you know, you can always send us your questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, people you'd love to see on the show, organizations you'd like us to consider shouting out. Write us anytime at connects@auroratheater.org. That's connects@auroratheater.org. We always love you following along with us on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to hit like and subscribe. And of course, this and every other episode is available in an audio podcast format wherever you source your podcasts.
And next week, we will be joined by Bay Area magician Christian Cajigal. He did a show with Aurora in our cabaret slot a couple of years ago. We're very excited to have him on the show. We'll try to convince him to do a couple of magic tricks for us as part of Aurora Connects, and we'll have a fun announcement about Christian and Aurora as well. So please join us next week for Aurora Connects with Christian Cajigal.
Great. Thank you all for tuning along, and thank you for staying connected.